All right. Press star 2 to raise your hand. There we go. I got one up here. Let me get this hand down. And last 4 digits of the phone number are 4319. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, Mitch, how you doing? It's Landon.
Hey, Landon, what's going on?
Oh, a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff. Staying busy.
So what do we owe this honor?
I have something you may not be able to help with because it was kind of like the previous caller was a rental situation. I'm having some issues lately where I go to evict a tenant and they file a CDC declaration, and basically they were saying it was going on till December 31st. Then that came and went, and they extended it to January 31st. So I have a hearing because I contested the CDC declaration that my tenant filed, and it's going to be on a week from today, on the 19th. So I just wondered if you've done any.
I saw those posts on Facebook, I think, with an attorney that said that he was having luck beating those. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, he beat. I think he said he beat 5 out of 7 of them. But I was just calling to see if you had any tips or tricks. I know you probably wind up with some tenants, even though you don't want to. Like when you foreclose on somebody, then they're a tenant. So I was just wondering if you had any experience with this and if you had any luck with it.
No, I actually wrote down the phone number the name and phone number of that attorney because I don't have any problems right now, but I am having some problems with some evictions, and I was wondering, if they're going to be able to help me with it. I'm having problems with foreclosures, and I was wondering if he was going to be able to help me with foreclosures. I haven't called him yet about that, but.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
I'm not doing but one is too many.
Yeah. Well, I do know there are some things that you can do, like, for example, 2 of the evictions that I've done so far with these CDC things that were contested, I can refile and go after them for non-monetary violations. Basically what that means is, it has nothing to do with them paying the rent or not. Like, I've got one of the tenants, I sent my contractor out there, and she was smoking weed with her husband, and that's a violation. So I can get her out, hopefully, on that. And that's the one that I'm contesting, and that's going to be one of my arguments I'm going to make. But there's another thing that's good to know. When you do a foreclosure, they're not supposed to be able to do the declaration because they're considered a holdover tenant. They're not in a lease. So if they're not in a lease, supposedly you're supposed to be able to get them out. So, hopefully that's...
The problem, the courthouse isn't open. Well, it wasn't. Yeah. But my guys apparently are so broke that I would have to drive around the block the first time and drop off the weed, and then I would have to come back around the second time and take a picture of them smoking it.
You have to drop it off. Yeah, I got you. That's funny. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to do what I can do on this one, see if I can get her out on the 19th, because it's just, it's kind of frustrating. I don't like the direction that the government's heading where they're sticking it to the landlords, essentially. They're saying that, they don't have to pay rent, but meanwhile, in January 31st, I'm going to have to pay my taxes, so.
Yeah, don't even get me going on that. Don't even, it's just bullshit is what it is. But what do we, right now, we got a lot of prayers today, so right now.
Yeah, well, it's frustrating. I mean, because, essentially, like, I'm a middleman. Maybe I get, $300 cash after the note and the insurance and taxes, and then they're going to tell me that I can't evict my tenant. It is. It's bullshit. So it's frustrating. They kind of tie our hands, and I wouldn't care if they did something like the government's going to pay their rent. Okay, you want them to stay in there, you pay for them. Why am I their babysitter? Free babysitter.
Well, they had that program in San Antonio, and some of my friends ran down and they called every one of their tenants. One guy had like 400 of them and said, "Get down here. We got paperwork. They're going to pay 6 months of your rent in advance," and they did until the program ran out of money. But for the people that acted fast, and he said he's never collected so much money in his life.
Yeah, I heard they have that. They'll do 3 months ahead and 3 months back, and I hear it's supposed to be opening up again. In fact, because right now it's closed out to the landlords. But
Don't
they'll
get me
do.
wrong. Neither he nor I believe in it. But if they're going to give it away, someone's going to take it. So it might as well be me, because it's not like it's going to sit there. So and also the jury's out now as to whether or not these people will start feeling entitled and then not make their payments again or get more difficult to deal with it. We're all watching to see if these handouts actually help these people or if it ruins them.
Yeah, it's going to ruin them. You and I think a lot alike in this department. Handouts are never any good. Yeah, is that Sam you're talking about with the 400 units?
One of them. There were 2 or 3 people I know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. I just hope it doesn't get worse for us, and then what's coming on the 20th. I don't know if he's going to make our lives. Yeah, I'm sure it's not going to get any better with the new regime. So.
I still have great hope. Believe it or not, I haven't given up yet.
I haven't either. I keep getting things that there's something's going to be happening, and I hope it does. I really hope it does, because I don't want our country to be taken over. I mean, if you go down that road and you're like Venezuela or Cuba, and then they just steal your property, then being a real estate investor is worth.
You haven't. I mean, if you haven't seen what Biden's going to do to the real estate industry, what he said he's going to do. I mean, I still have to pass these laws or whatever, but they've taken away every benefit that they used to get us into this industry. All the depreciation, the only thing I think they didn't take away was the interest write-off.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that's scary to me, because I busted my butt all these years for the past 12 years working on real estate because of all these benefits, and then going to have somebody like him pull the rug out from under us. It's not going to be pretty for a lot of us.
Well, let's don't go there yet, man. Let's just see what's happening, And when there's great chaos, there is great opportunity for entrepreneurs. So they may be moving the cheese, and we may have to move around a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to stay in close contact with you, because I know you'll figure out what a cheese is before anybody else, Mitch. So.
No, I mean, we'll figure it out together. You know what I mean? You and me and the people in this call and your friends and my friends all in this business, we'll be having big powwows. You know what I mean? Like, what do you do now? But there's usually, here's one thing. It's pretty hard to defeat an entrepreneur, short of pure ass communism.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I'm afraid of, because they seem like they want to go that direction. You got Kamala, who's more socialist than Bernie. So it's not looking good, because I don't think if Biden does get in, I don't think he'd last too long.
Well, we know that, but let's save this conversation for another time, because this conversation could go on forever.
Yep, and you don't want to hear me whine all night anyway.
Hey, have you opened up your clubs? Are you guys having meetings yet? Or are you still doing stuff by Zoom?
Yeah, we don't have any live meetings yet, because the facility that we're using still tells us we can only have 40 people in there at a time, so it's not even worth it. So yeah, we're not doing any live meetings yet. Okay, well, I'm one of those fools that went down and bought the ivermectin at the feed store and drank it, so I'm not worrying about COVID anymore. So, I saw and read and made a few calls, and I'm in, and that's what I did, and I'm not worrying about it at all. So. Yeah. Okay. Well, I never really was worried about it, to be honest. I don't have any of those things they're talking about, diabetes or other stuff. And it seemed like most people, even, Trump, he's 74 years old. He seemed like he was maybe down for a day, So I figured if he can get through it, I can get through it. There we go. All right, my friend, let's keep in touch. All right, Mitch. Take care, buddy. Bye-bye.